Okay, good morning once again, guys. So far, what we have done was to use the time value of money concepts and learned how to compute for the either the future value, the present value, the annuity payment. Sandali lang guys, nag-lolo ko tong Excel ko. Given an equivalent cash flow. Okay, we had several examples before. We learned how to compute the future value, the present value. We learned how to compute the equivalent annuity given either the present value or the future value, and vice versa. We learned how to compute for the number of years, or we also learned how to compute the rate given equivalent cash flows and other factors. Now, last time we learned how to compute for the net present value. So we know now how to evaluate a project given their cash flows and determine whether that project is feasible or not based on the use of the net present value or the net future value. And we also learned how to compute for the yield or the IRR. And the IRR, we compare with the weighted average cost of capital. And we said that the decision rule is that if the IRR is greater than the WACC, then the project is feasible. Also for the NPV or the NFV, if they're positive, then the project is okay. So we also said that if there's a conflict between the two, then the NPV prevails because it has a more sound theoretical underpinnings. And we also said last time that the NPV, the IRR, is that rate of return where the NPV is equal to 0. So here we computed for the NPV. Okay, we computed for the NPV using the IRR as the rate, and it turns out that the NPV is 0 when we use the rate of return to be equal to IRR. Okay, so today we're going to learn the concept of APR and EAR. APR, annual percentage return, versus the effective annual return, APR versus EAR. So oftentimes we meet compounding of cash flows. That's not only once a year. If we have compounding of cash flows, for example, we have semi-annual, it means that interest is incurred or interest is computed twice a year. So let's look at it through an example. We have cash now, present value at 1 million. We're given the nominal rate, or that's the annual percentage rate. That's usually the rate, that's a stated rate. That's the rate that's given to us when we transact business. So it's usually given to us as a nominal rate or per annum. No? So ito, yung 10% na to per annum yan. Okay, hindi kailangan, unless na talaga nakaspecify na nakasabi na 5% monthly rate, no? Or 6% semi-annual rate. Pag wala namang sinabi, automatic yun na annual yung rate na yun, no? 10%. So that automatically means that this is the nominal rate or this is the annual percentage rate. Then we're given the periods by which we will compound the cash flow. Okay, so we have 1 million. If the frequency is 1 annual, ibig sabihin isang beses lang sa isang taon i-compute yung interest, then that's very easy to compute in Excel. We can use, so if we're being asked to compute for the future value, so this is negative FP. Okay, so these are the parameters. The rate is our 10%, comma, NPER is 30. Ignore the PMT because this is not an annuity. This is just a single cash flow, present value of 1 million. Okay, then the type we ignore because this is not an annuity. Control Enter. Okay, So it's 17,449,000, 17.5 million approximately. So our 1 million in 30 years time at a rate of 10% will be 17.449 million. Okay, however, it will not be the same if the compounding is semi-annual. Okay, if the compounding is semi-annual, that means the interest will be incurred. I think the interest will be computed twice a year. So my question is, so kunyari, ang computation will be on January 1 and July 1. Okay, question. Anong interest rate ang gagamitin sa July 1? Could you kindly chat, please? What interest rate will be used? When we compute for the interest on January 1, what interest rate will be used, guys? Could you kindly chat, please? Okay, so thank you, Roy. No? So it's 5%, tama. 5% guys, interest rate na gagamitin, hindi 10%. Kasi yung next pa, July 1, for example, that will be the other 5%. Okay, so 5%, tapos 5% ulit, so twice a year. Okay, question, ilang, dun sa 30-year period, ilang times magko-compute ng interest? How many times will interest be computed? Okay, so thank you, Kai. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Ashley. You're correct. It's 60. Bakit 60? Kasi 30 years, di ba? Eh, sa isang taon, 2 times eh. So that's 30 times 2. So 60 times magko-compute ng interest. Okay, so you notice guys, na kahit pareho silang 30 years, mas maraming beses nagko-compound pag semi-annual. Kasi twice a year tayo nagko-compound eh pag semi-annual. While pag annual lang, once a year lang. And we learned about the concept of the power of compounding. So pag mas maraming beses tayo nagko-compound, mas lalaki talaga yung future value natin. So let's do that. No? Let's compute for the future value, negative FB. I'll just put negative FB here. Okay, for this scenario where we have semi-annual compounding, therefore our rate, guys, every time na mag-compute tayo ng interest, it will not be 10%. It will be 10% divided by 2. So 5% na lang, di ba sabi natin kanina. Tapos ilang periods to? Ilang beses tayo magko-compound? So it's 30 multiplied by 2. Okay, I hope you got that, guys. Then comma, PMT, no PMT, it will be only a singular cash flow, 1 million present value. And then let's close this, Control Enter. There, we can see guys that kapag semi-annual yung compounding, mas mataas talaga yung future value. No? Okay, so syempre, pag mas maraming compounding per year, mas malaki yung future value. Okay, I'd like you now to, I'll delete this. I'll delete this and this one also. Paki-chat nga guys, isang formula dito para i-copy natin yung formula ng future value niya hanggang 365. Kasi iba to eh. Iba si infinite, no? This one will have a different formula. Okay, so kindly, and then paki-chat guys, sa chat box natin, ano yung magiging formula natin dito? One formula para ma-copy natin down in computing for the future value with different compounding frequencies, no? Sige. I'll give you a few seconds, guys. Okay, let's see. We have one answer. Okay, Robert. Let's see. I'll copy the formula of Robert. Control C. Okay, If you have any other answer, kindly, or similar answer, paki-chat na lang din, no? So ito kinopy ko yung ano ni Robert, no? Okay, let's wait for the others. Baka may ibang formula or kung similar formula nyo. Okay, so wala na. All right, so let's take a look at the answer of Robert, no? So first the rate, Robert, could you kindly explain please your answer?
Sir.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
So I use the dollar function po para pag nakopy siya sa baba po, hindi pa siya umusad. So,
Okay.
if for example, present value, I use the dollar function po para
So let's start with the rate.
di
Ano
siya,
yung rate mo? Ano yung rate na ginamit natin dito?
yung 10% po, divided by the periods or
May
year po.
magkaiba tayong cells, ano? So, wait. 10 B69, okay, divided by B72. And then, itong N per,
Yung ano po, yung years po nandun sa taas po. And then,
okay,
times yung kung ilang beses
periods per
po
year.
per year.
Okay, tapos, itong PMT, ba't walang PMT?
Since
Since, hello, Bert?
Since forget ko, sir.
Annuity ba to? Itong 1 million na to? Kasi ano ba yung annuity? Diba ang annuity natin, uniform stream of cash flows. Kunyari, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million for 30 years. No? 1 million ba siya for 30 years?
No.
No, di ba? Kasi single cash flow lang to, 1 million. Kaya dun siya papasok sa future value at present value. Okay, so this is correct. Okay. So, Khalil, B69, B70, B7. Iba naman yung formula ni Khalil, no? Okay, B69. Okay, so tingnan natin Khalil, tapusin ko lang tong pag-discuss kay Robert. Okay, so B68. Okay, if we run this formula 17449 and then we try to copy down. Okay. All right. So mukhang tama naman, no? Tama siya, 17449, 18679. Okay? So how can we improve the formula? Itong pag-fix natin, we don't actually have to fix yung column B kasi we're copying the formula down. So ibig sabihin yung column position natin hindi nagbabago. So just to improve on this, no need to fix the column, just the row. Okay, but it's also correct naman kung ganito yung formula. Okay, enter natin. Okay. All right. Ito naman Khalil, B69. Okay, yun ang rate natin. Kaso 'di ba sabi natin B69 will be N per if this is B69, kung B69 lang yung ano natin, yung rate natin. Okay, pagdating ngayon sa second, pag dinag natin, B69 pa rin siya, no? So 10% pa rin siya. Ibig sabihin nun, yung hindi magbabago, no? Okay, so let me copy this. Control C. Control. Okay, so I'm copying the formula of Khalil as is, no? B69 and then B70 and per is B70, okay? And then PMT, B73. Khalil, could you explain bakit ganito yung formula na sinasuggest mo? Which one?
Sir, yung sa PMT, ginamit ko po yung PMT, tas B72 po dapat. Magkaiba po tayo ng Excel.
B72, ito. Yan, B72 yan. Tapos, B68 yung present value.
Opo.
Sa tama na tong formula ko?
Opo.
Okay, sige, run natin ha. And then if we copy down, okay. So, we're not getting the values that yung kanina. Iba to sa formula ni Robert kanina, no? Okay, so let's analyze this. Number one, yung rate natin na 10%, no? It will change depending on the periods. So kung annual siya, 10% siya. Pero pag semi-annual siya, dapat 10% divided by 2, 5% dapat siya, no? Kasi sabi nga natin, pag nag-compute ng semi-annual, hindi 10% ang gagamitin. 5% lang. Kasi 2 times magko-compute eh. Pag in-add yun, actually magiging 10% yun. Tapos ito naman, dapat 10% divided by 4. So ito, okay? So what we should do with this is we should divide this by yung number of periods natin per year. Okay? And then years natin, yung N per natin, magbabago din yun, depende dun sa compounding periods natin per year. So sabi nga natin kanina, pag annual, 30 lang yan. Pero pag semi-annual, 60 times tayo magko-compute. And then itong PMT, Khalil, bakit itong ano? Di ba ang ibig sabihin ng PMT, annuity? Okay, why did you use this one for your annuity?
Sorry sir, kasi po nung trinay ko po siya, tumama po siya dun sa
okay.
1 period per year.
Yeah, pero hindi siya eksakto kasi ang sinasabi dito, meron kang annuity na tago 1 pesos, no? Or in other words, meron tayong present value na 1 million, tapos meron ka pang, okay, let me draw that. Okay, pag ganito, pag linagay natin na 1 yung annuity, okay, so this is very interesting yung ano, kasi this is a good learning experience for us, no, yung in-answer ni Khalil. Okay, sandali. Naka-ano ba ako? Gumagana ba yung ano ko? Okay, sorry guys, medyo naglolo ko tong computer eh. Okay, let me just open the digital pen. Okay, nakabukas na siya. Okay, pag maglalagay tayo ng PMT na 1 doon, okay, so this is what the cash flow is we're trying to tell Excel to compute. So meron tayong 1 million dito sa year 0, may 1M dito, no? 1 million. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hanggang 30. No? So may tago 1 peso ka dito. 1. Ayan. Okay, so if we put 1 peso sa PMT, we're saying now that meron tayong annuity, okay, here. Meron tayong annuity na 1 pesos. Pagdating dito, meron kang 365 pesos every year. Yan. Yun ang ibig sabihin guys ng annuity. Uniform stream of cash flows. Okay, but is that the cash flow that we're being informed here? Hindi. Hindi ito annuity. No, these are the number of times na i-compound siya per year. Okay, that's why here, okay, compare natin kung hindi siya exactly the same. Negative FB, ang rate natin 10%, okay? Comma, N per is 30, present value 1 million. Okay. See guys, hindi siya magkapareho, no? It's not the same. Pag sinama natin yung annuity dito. Okay, so just remember guys, yung PMT, okay, mas malaki yung naging answer ni Khalil na future value kasi nagdagdag tayo ng 1 peso na annuity for the next 30 years. Okay, so pag kinuha natin future value nitong stream of cash flows nito, meron tayong 1 million ngayon, tapos meron pa tayong tagwa 1 peso hanggang year 30. Siyempre, mas malaki talaga yung future value niyan. Kasi mas malaki yung ano natin eh. May annuity tayo na 1. Because we placed here 1 dito sa annuity here. Okay? So wala tayong annuity, meron lang tayong present value. Okay, but thank you, Robert. Thank you, Khalil. Khalil, thank you so much for sharing your answer kasi learning ano sa atin yan, no? Learning, no? That's a learning process. That's why I really encourage you to share your answers, okay? And because that takes, number one, courage, and that takes also yung ibig sabihin ng willing to learn kayo, no? Okay, so paki-remind ako, Robert, Khalil, you'll have +3 points, no, for sa bonus. Iba yung bonus natin, i-accumulate natin. I-remind nyo na lang ako. Dali, lagi ko na lang dito. Okay. All right, so thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, Khalil, for sharing your answers. So ang answer natin, guys, dito, negative FB, ang rate natin, 10%. Sabi natin, if i-fix natin yan, and then divided by the number of periods per compounding, no? Ano yung frequency ng compounding natin? Okay, then comma, N per will be 30, yung number of years natin, naka-fix natin yan, but we have to multiply this by the compounding per year. Okay, comma, PMT, ignore kasi wala tayong annuity, comma, and then present value is 1 million. Okay, there. So yun ang ano natin, ano, yun ang formula natin for future value. And then we copy this down. Okay, so notice guys na kapag daily yung compounding, ibig sabihin araw-araw nagko-compute tayo ng interest. And then the interest will earn interest, no? So it's interest upon interest upon interest. Kaya natin makikita na yung future value dito is much higher compared to just annual compounding. Okay? Now there's such a thing as also continuous compounding, or ang tawag dito perpetuity. Okay, so how do we compute for the future value if you have continuous compounding? So kapag continuous compounding, guys, the formula there is ito. Yung future value natin is equal to the present value times E to the R times T. Okay. I assume, guys, that you have met this number, C. Na-meet nyo na ba yan sa subjects nyo? Baka sa math? Have you met that number? Isa lang, guys, nag-answer. Isa lang ba yung nakamit ng you have already encountered? So only one of you encountered this E. How about the others, guys? Na-meet nyo na ba itong si exponential na to? Okay, thank you. Thank you. So you must have, of course, met this in your math, sa math subject nyo. Tapos yung E, guys, ano yan? It's an irrational number. No? It's a transcendental number kasi non-repeating, non-terminating yan. Okay, it's a non-repeating and non-terminating number. So pinsan niya ni pinsan niya ni pi. Okay, if you recall sa geometry nyo, may yung pi, di ba? Okay, and pi is a non-repeating, non-terminating number, so is E. So we can get, kunyari, sa Excel, yung pi, so is equal to pi, open and close parenthesis. So this is the approximate number of pi. For E naman, we use EXP. So if we type EXP, sabi dito, returns E raised to the power of a given number. So we raise it to 1. E to the 1 is equal to E. So this is the approximate kasi, guys, ang pi talaga ang E talaga walang katapusan yan. Okay? So we can now compute for the future value if the compounding is continuous. So we now have present value natin multiplied by, so we use the EXP function, E to the R times T. Okay, so that will be our future value if the compounding is continuous. All right, what will this be? So it's 20,085. So it's bigger than daily compounding. Okay. Any questions, guys? Pause muna ako. I'll give you time to, if you're copying the answers. Okay, any questions? If none, clear so far ba? Paki-chat na lang, please. Kung clear so far. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So now, aside from this, there's another way to, okay. So ito yung future value natin, no? Now, ang gusto natin ngayon, makompute natin yung effective annual rate. Okay, effective annual return. Kasi, di ba pareho naman itong mga 30 years natin, kinompound sila. Parehong 30 years. Pero once a year compounding, 17 million lang. Pag kapag daily na, 20 million na siya. So, effectively, guys, sino mas mataas na rate? Obviously, guys, mas mataas yung mga rate pag nag-i-increase na yung natin, mas mataas yung rate ni 20,077 kaysa 17,449. Kasi pareho lang silang okay, so let's illustrate that para clear sa atin. Kasi this is what's happening, no? So meron tayo ngayong 1 million, okay, at time 0. Then at time 30, meron tayong isa yung 17.5 million. Isa naman 20 point something million. No? Okay, ang tanong, guys, pareho ba yung return nito ng 17.5 at saka 20 million? Hindi. Pareho silang present value na 1 million. Yung isa, after 30 years, naging 17.5 million, yung isa 20 million. So ergo, guys, syempre, mas malaki yung yung return nito, yung rate nito. Okay? So, yung rate nito, from 1 million, tapos naging 20 million siya, ang tawag doon, guys, effective annual rate. Ito yun, EAR. So we can easily compute for the effective annual rate or effective annual return. So paano? We're going to use 1 million as the present value and then ito as the future value. Tapos ang gagamitin natin, syempre yung rate function Excel. Okay, so rate and per natin 30 years. No? 30 years pa rin. I'll fix that kasi ikakopy natin pababa. Comma, PMT, no PMT. present value is 1 million, okay, comma, future value is, now remember guys, pag kinocompute natin yung rate, tsaka enter kay Excel, dapat yung direction ng cash flow, importante, no? So we have to put yung future value as negative or pwedeng magkabaliktad, no? Ito yung negative, ito yung positive. Enter. Okay. So as expected guys, yung percentage return, nitong once a year compounding should be 10% also. Okay? Pero pag binaba na natin to, oops, dapat naka-fix yung 368 natin. Okay. Yung future value ang hindi naka-fix. Enter. There. Okay, so what do we notice now? So, mas malaki yung effective annual rate ng mga future value na mas malalaki. Of course, definitely. Definitely. So that's a very understandable, no? Na mas malaki yung effective annual return kapag mas maraming compounding natin every year. All right, so is that clear, guys? Clear so far? Yung pag-compute natin effective annual return. So we use the rate function in Excel. Siyempre, kailangan muna natin computein yung future value. Pag na-compute natin yung future value, then we can now compute for the rate. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, no questions. So you can use the rate function in computing for the EAR, or we can use the formula. So yung formula natin, it's 1 plus the nominal rate divided by periods per year, raised to the periods per year, and then minus 1. So that's how we can compute for the effective annual rate, no? Okay, so let's do this, guys. I-ano natin siya, i-formula natin. So 1 plus, our nominal rate is 30%. So we have to fix this kasi we'll copy the formula down, divided by the number of periods per year ng compounding. So that's it, 1, 2, 4, etc. Raised to the, okay, raised to the PPY, no? And then minus 1. So we can compute for the effective annual return, effective annual rate using this formula. 1 plus the nominal rate, or the APR, divided by your periods per year, everything in quotation, parentheses, then raised to the PPY minus 1. Okay, so we get the same answer. Okay. Any questions, guys? Clear ba to? Yung formula naman ang ginamit natin. Paki-chat nga, guys, kung clear, kung no questions tayo, or clear tong ano natin, tong pag-compute ng effective annual rate, effective annual return using the formula. Okay, thank you. Although konti pa lang yung nag-chat, no? Okay. Yan, meron pa. Thank you. Sige. Well, let's just wait for the response of others. Very good, very good. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for responding. Okay, so we learned how to compute for the effective annual return, effective annual rate using the rate function or using the formula. Now, dito, guys, syempre, hindi natin pwede makopy yung formula kasi we are dividing by a text. Hindi tayo pwede mag-text kasi mag-error yan. Okay. Kasi we cannot divide by a text. B80, it's a text. So anong gagawin natin dito? Now, the equivalent EAR for continuously compounded. Okay, so dito, ang EAR natin dito, effective annual return, will be equal to E to the I, or E to the R. E to the R. That's our effective annual return. So let's do that. Is equal to exponential E to the R. Our R is 10%. Okay, and then sorry, minus 1 pa pala. Minus 1. Okay, so that's E to the R minus 1, or E to the I minus 1. Okay, so we get the same, 10.517. Okay. All right. Then lastly, guys, may mas madaling function si Excel, effect. No? So the effect function, sabi dito, returns the effective annual interest rate. So yun yun. So this is easier. Nominal rate natin 10%. We fix this. And then comma. N per Y, number of periods per year. Ito yung frequency ng compounding natin. So that's B72. We'll enter. Okay. And then of course, ito, hindi natin pwedeng magamit yung effect function kasi wala tayong periods per year. Okay, so we get the same answers, no? Pareho lang. In fact, pag dagdagan natin yung yung decimal place, so it's exactly the same. Using the formula, or using the rate function of Excel, or using the effect function. So these are the ways we can compute for the effective annual return. Okay, so kailan lang nagkakaroon guys ng EAR? Nagkakaroon ng EAR kung meron tayong non-annual na compounding. Kasi the EAR and the APR will be the same if it's just annual compounding. Okay, ito 1 year lang. Notice na yung natin, yung effective annual rate is the same as your annual rate. Pareho lang siya, 10, 10, 10, which is the same as your APR. So walang difference yung EAR natin at saka APR if we have only annual compounding. But if it's other than annual, so it's semi-annual, quarterly, etc., then you will have an EAR that's different from your APR. Okay, clear yun guys? Paki-chat nga please kung clear yung concept ng EAR. Sinasabi natin, nagkakaroon lang ng difference ng yung EAR at saka APR if there is non-annual compounding. Ibig sabihin, either twice a year nagko-compound, 4 times a year, etc. Clear so far guys? Paki-chat naman please. Kung clear tong concept ng EAR, APR. Okay, very good, very good. I surmise that yes yung answers nyo. Okay, so this ends our discussion of this worksheet. Review lang natin guys. In this worksheet, we learned how to do compounding or discounting. Okay, when we say compounding, we are getting the future value. When we say discounting, we are getting the present value. We even learned how to compute for the number of years. No? It takes to double our cash flow, our funds. Okay, we also use the power of 2, or we learned how to use the goal seek. Tapos dito sa worksheet na to guys, we learned how to use FV, PV, PMT, rate, and NPER. Okay, and we learned how to pay particular attention to the direction of the cash flow, especially when we're computing for the rate and the NPER. Kasi pag kino-compute natin si rate at saka si NPER, hihingihan tayo ng equivalent values yan, dalawang equivalent values. Okay, and be sure to put one as a negative and the other one as a positive. Otherwise, mag-error tayo. Okay, we also learned how to compute for the NPV, NFV, and we said that an investment is acceptable if the net present value is positive or the net future value is positive. Siyempre, pag positive yung NPV, automatically guys, positive din yung NFV. In terms of IRR or the internal rate of return, we said that a project is feasible if the IRR is greater than the weighted average cost of capital. Okay, and then if there's a conflict between the NPV and IRR, we always follow the NPV. And we defined our IRR is that rate of return where the net present value is 0. Okay, so dito guys, in the topic that we just discussed, we learned how to compute for the effective annual rate. Sabi natin, si effective annual rate, ito yung rate of return kung ang compounding natin more than one per year. Kasi ang effective annual return natin will be higher than your annual percentage return if there's if the compounding is more than once per year. Okay, we also learned how to do continuous compounding, where the formula is the future value is equal to present value times e to the RT to get the future value. No? But to get the effective annual rate, it's e to the R minus 1. Okay, so this in a nutshell, guys, are the topics that we learned in this worksheet. Now let's go to this one, amortization. Okay, so may I invite you, kung may access kayo sa internet, i-chat ko itong dalawang sites na to. Okay, then can we kindly please take a look at them? So una, tingnan muna natin to. Buksan ko na ba? Hindi pa yata. So this is one good application of the time value of money. Kasi in the future, guys, you might normally what happens is that nagse-separate yung either yung daughter or yung son, tapos they marry, no? And then they separate from their families, so pwede sila mag-invest ng bahay. Okay, and if you're employed by law, you need to contribute or to pay yung sa HDMF sa pag-ibig, no? So mandated by law to. So tingnan natin, guys, let's open the other one first. Itong frequently asked questions, Control C. So let's open this. So later on, you might be interested in doing a consumer loan, particularly a housing loan. So dito may mga frequently asked questions, no? So what is sorry. Mali yata ito. Ang galing ko yung virtual pag-ibig. Okay, so mali, no? I think I got the wrong, hindi siya yung virtual pag-ibig. Dahil lang, guys, ha? Hanapin natin yung frequently asked questions. Ito. Pag-ibig. Frequently asked questions. Hindi yung virtual. Ito to. Okay, sorry for that, guys. So, ang kailangan natin ito, no? Not the virtual. I'll send this so that if you're trying to access, Control C, i-chat ko. Okay, so, mali yung isa, guys, no? So, frequently asked questions, housing loan. Yan. Housing loan, frequently asked questions. So, here you can learn, guys, how to paano daw kumuha ng loan, kung qualified ba tayo, or magkano daw yung pwedeng mahiram. Sabi dito, how much can we borrow? Up to a maximum of 6 million. Okay, pero conditional pa yan. Tapos ito yung interest natin. No? What are the interest rates? So for this activity, we're going to use a 15-year, no? 15-year interest rate, 7.875. Okay, 7.875, and that can be seen here also. So dito naman sa site na to, Affordability Calculator. Okay, so let's click this. Let's choose this. How much can you borrow based on the value of the property? Okay, so sa problem natin, we will assume that we want to loan for a property that's worth 5 million. No? Okay, and then gawin natin 15 years. Sabi natin kanina, 15 years. Okay. 15 years. Yeah. So, the Pag-ibig Affordability Calculator gives us this information based on 5 million na yung value ng property for 15 years natin ila-loan. Tapos ito nga, 7.875 yung interest as we saw a while ago. So you can approximately loan 4.5 million down. So which means that may equity tayo, no, na 10%. So you cannot loan everything in 5 million. You can only loan here 90%. Kasi 90% times 5 million, that's 4.5 million. So ibig sabihin, may equity ka na 10%. Dapat maglalabas tayo ng pera na 500,000. Tapos take note of this, guys. Ito, no? So principal and interest, 42,680.24. Tapos sabi din dito, an estimated equity, 500,000. And then dapat daw may sweldo tayo na 121,943. Dapat may source tayo ng gross monthly income. Okay? Na 121,943 per month. Yun ang computation nila para ma-sustain na makaya yung ganitong babayaran na 42,680.24 per month. So, copy nga natin to. And I'm going to put that here. Nakayan ko lang to. Okay, so clear so far, guys, yung site na pinuntahan natin. Sabi ng Pag-ibig, magbabayad tayo per month ng 42,680. May isang amount pa doon, guys, kasi may mga additional yata na But we will focus on this one, yung 42,680. Okay. All right. May mga items dito, guys, na dinagdag ko, which I don't think you have it in your worksheet. So pakidagdag na lang. So loan principal, percentage down payment, amount to finance, annual rate of interest, number of years, periods per year, periodic rate, total periods, and then monthly amortization. Okay, so let's fill this up. 5 million, no? Ito yung value ng property, yung loan principal. And then we know that yung down payment, yung equity is 10% based on yung information na nakuha natin dun sa Pag-ibig Affordability Calculator. So ang loanable amount natin will be about 5 million times 1 minus 10%. Okay. So in other words, 90% lang yung maloloan natin. Ibabawas natin yung equity. Okay, so this gives us 4.5. Okay, so tama tayo, no? Ito lang yung pwede natin ma-loan, yung 4.5. Okay, so what's the APR, annual percentage rate? So that's 7.875. No? Okay, ilang years yung pinili natin? 15 years. Okay, so ang number of periods natin, periods per month, not periods per year, since this is monthly, so 12. No? Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Paki-solve tong ano yung periodic rate natin, ano yung total periods based on a 15-year loan. No? Tapos ano yung monthly amortization. I'll give you a few minutes, guys. And then magko-compare tayo. Kaso baka kulangan tayo ng oras. Sige, ano na lang natin, let's do this together, guys. Sorry, kasi baka kapusin tayo ng oras eh. So periodic rate natin, what will be our periodic rate? It will be equal to, kasi ang annual rate natin, 7.875. Eh, monthly yung payment na to eh, di ba? So interest will be computed on a monthly basis. Diba? So ang periodic rate natin, monthly rate should be 7.875 divided by 12. Parang ginawa natin kanina, no? 10% divided by 2, 10% divided by 4. So ito, yung 7.875% divided by bali 12. No? So ibig sabihin, every month, meron tayong na-incur na interest na 0.6563%. Okay, total periods, guys, ilan yung total periods natin? Kung ang rate natin is monthly, dapat ang total periods din natin is month. No? Ilang number of months. So that will be equal to 15 years times 12. Okay, 180 periods, 180 months. Okay, so I'll give you guys monthly amortization. Pakilagay ko ano yung formula na to. Formula, tapos ilagay nyo din sa chat kung ano yung value. I'll give you a few seconds. What will be the monthly amortization? Anong function yun sa Excel? And ano yung value niya? Okay, let's see these three answers. Okay, so kay Roy, Feo, Roy. Dalawa pala, dalawang samugot, no? Feo and Roy. Let's see. PMTB. Roy, saan yung ano mo? Yung function mo?
Hello po, sir. Ano po? My function po is like Teos, pero I put negative po before the PMT.
Okay. Pareho lang kayo. Okay, sige, let's see. I'll copy the formula. Okay, let's see, no? So PMT, guys, you're correct, no? PMT yung ano natin. So sabi ni Roy, naglagay siya ng negative dito. Okay, sige, let's see, guys. We can put negative there, guys, kasi cash flow tong PMT, no? At saka, kung hindi tayo maglagay ng negative, na-negative yung answer natin. Kasi positive yung ano natin, yung amount to finance. Okay, let's see. The rate is, what's the rate? Anong rate nyo dito? B7, 7.875, okay? And then, number 2, NPER is B11, 180, okay? And then number 3, B6, present value. Okay, then comma, so ibig sabihin wala na to, can just remove this. Okay, so yan. Okay, so B7, that's our rate, 7.875. B11, NPER, that's 180. And then PV is B6. Okay, so we get an answer equal to 354,375. Okay, i-check lang natin, guys, Kung ito yung babayad natin per month, no? Is equal to, check lang natin, what will be our total payment lang? Kung 354, 375.42 per month yung babayaran natin, and we multiply that by 180, okay. Ito na yung total na babayaran natin, guys. Oh, di ba? 63 million na yung babayaran natin na total. Eh, ang linaw lang natin, 4,500,000. Siyempre, hindi tayo papayag nito, guys. No? Kasi ang sinasabi natin dito, ang babayaran natin per month, 354,000 for the next 180 months. Okay, so, oh, di ba? Okay. But, Teo and Roy, thank you for answering. So, you also get 2 points for today. Susulat ko muna. Kasi baka makalimutan ko mamaya. Kasi alam mo ko may mga kulang na rin ako sa iba. Teo and Roy. Okay. Okay, so something's wrong here, no? Something's wrong here. Anong mali dito? Ang mali dito, guys, ang periods natin monthly, ang rate natin annual. Hindi pa pwede yun. Okay, so dapat ang rate natin, it should be the monthly rate. Monthly rate, yung periods natin monthly din. Okay? So this should be the correct answer. Rate natin should be 7.875 divided by 12 or it's 0.6563. And per natin is 15 years times 12. That's 180 months. So consistent tayo. Yung rates natin monthly, yung ano natin, yung number of periods monthly din. Present value is 5 million. Okay, so if we continue this, future value wala naman. Type natin is end of the period, so 0 tayo, which is annuity ordinary. Or sabi ko nga kanina, pwede rin tanggalin na itong 0 at saka yung dalawang commas. No? Excel will read both as 0. Okay, so this is the correct formula. Enter. Okay, so what do we get? 42,680.24, which is exactly the same as yung sa pag-ibig. Okay, so now we know, guys, kung saan ang gagaling tong 42,680.24 na yan. Okay, so we can create our own pag-ibig affordability calculator. Okay, kasi we used the PMT function in Excel. Kasi we look for the equivalent of 4.5 million now. Anong equivalent niya for the next 15 years or 180 months? Magkano per month yung babayaran? 42,680.24. Okay, let me flash again the formula. For those of you who haven't inputted that, paki-ano. Tapos, question po again. Clear so far, guys? Chat, please. Okay, good. Good. So this is a very practical application, guys, ng ano ng time value of money. In particular, sa pag-create ng amortization table. By the way, guys, have you constructed before in your previous subject? Baka sa math nyo, nag-construct na ba kayo ng amortization schedule, amortization table? Paki-chat nga please para alam ko kung nag-ano na ba kayo dati, gumawa na kayo nito. Okay. But anong different dito? Did you use Excel? Nag-Excel ba kayo? Excel din yung ginamit ko dati. Kai, Excel ba? Roy? Okay, Excel din pala. So alam niyo na pala to, no? Pero bakit mali yung answer niyo sa PMT kanina kung alam niyo na? Oo nga. So, sure kayo na gumamit na kayo ng Excel dito? Sa ano? Ano yung tinuro? Formula lang. Okay. Okay. Formula lang. Hindi yung function. Okay, sige. Thank you. So, mas maganda, well, pwede naman natin gamitin yung formula. Pero, syempre pag mabilisan na, di ba? Mas madali na lang yung functions ni Excel. Okay. Anyway, madali naman nating hanapin kung ano ba yung formula ng for example, ng pag-solve ng annuity. Okay, so ayan, so these are specialized functions in Excel. Okay, so 42,680.24 exacto dun sa ano, exactly the same as that of the pag-ibig calculator. All right, so let's finish this now. We're going to create two amortization schedules. Number one, yung simple lang, na hindi natin matatapos to ngayon. Yung pangalawa, hindi natin magagawa. Gagawin natin next meeting yun. It will be a dynamic amortization calculator. I'm sure hindi nyo pa nagagawa yun, yung dynamic na to. In fact, ito nga hindi nyo pa yata nagawa. Itong sabi nyo nga, hindi nyo pa nagawa using functions. Okay, using formulas lang. Okay, so let's now create our amortization table. So we'll start with month 0. Month 0. Okay, so sa month 0, guys, nung nag-loan tayo, syempre hindi pa tayo nagbayad kagad nun kasi this is an annuity ordinary. Ibig sabihin, pagka-transact natin, nabigay yung loan, okay, o nabigay dun sa real estate company na ano, and then after 1 month, saka tayo magbabayad. So wala pang interest payment, wala pang principal payment. Ang month end natin will be 4.5 million. Okay? All right. Then what do we do now? We have to set up 180 payments, no? 180. So gamitin natin natutunan natin dati. I'll start with 0. Go to home, and then fill para mas mabilis, and then series. So the series is in columns. Okay, step value natin 1 up to 180. Ibig sabihin plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Starting with 0. Okay? And then okay here. There. Check natin 180. Alright, so now guys, wala pa tayong interest payment sa month 0, walang principal payment. Starting with month 1, magbabayad na tayo. No? How much are we going to pay? How much are we going to pay? We're going to pay 42,680.24. Ito yung babayaran natin monthly. Okay. Magkano sa first payment natin sa month 1, magkano yung pupunta sa interest, magkano yung pupunta sa principal? Kasi this is what happens, guys. Excuse me. This is what happens. Okay, ito yung babayad natin, 42, 480, 680.24. Okay. 42, 480.24. So this is what we're going to pay, di ba? Yung babayaran natin ito, guys, yung ibang portion dito pupunta sa interest. Yung iba naman pupunta sa principal. Of course, mas gusto natin, guys, yung pupunta sa principal, mas malaki kasi yung basis ng interest is on the remaining balance ng principal. Okay, so sa first month, magkano yung pupunta sa principal, magkano yung pupunta sa interest. So how do we compute for that? I think you know this, no? Kasi nag-amortization table na naman kayo dati. Okay, so what will go to interest is based on the month-end principal. So ang balance pa natin ng principal is 4,500,000. Doon mag-a-accrue ng interest, no? And the interest is times its monthly interest dapat. So we're going to fix that kasi ikakopy natin siya pababa. So this is now the formula to compute for the interest. No? Okay, so sa unang month, guys, out of the 42,480 na ibabayad natin, ang laki ng chunk pupunta sa interest. Tingnan nga natin sa first month, this divided by this. So that's practically almost 70%. No? 70% pupunta sa interest payment. Therefore, ang pupunta sa principal is just the difference between what we are going to pay and yung interest payments. No? So this is the amount that we're going to pay. I'm going to fix that. Bakit row lang? Kasi guys, ang pag-copy natin pababa. No? I'm not fixing row column B. And then ima-minus natin whatever interest payment. Okay, control enter. Yan. Okay. So 29.5 at saka 13.1. Pag tinotal natin to guys, it's 42,680. Okay? So at the end of month 1 guys, mababawasan yung principal natin. This minus this. Yeah. All right? And then the process continues. So dito naman, it will be equal to this times the interest rate. Okay, pareho lang ng formula yan dito. When we copy this down, okay, magiging B11 siya. Itong balance, F17, itong balance ito, times B10 pa rin. Okay, which means guys that we can now copy this below. Double click. Yan. And then when we get to the 180th month, notice guys, wala nang principal. Fully paid na. Zero na siya, no? We might wish to take the interest. Magkano yung total interest? So, Alt equal to, again, Alt equal to, okay. And this one, okay, so yung principal payments natin lahat, 4.5 million kasi yan ang linoan natin na amount. And then the total interest payment is 3,182,443. Okay, clear ba guys? Clear so far? Okay. Thank you. Wala bang questions? Any questions, guys? Okay, good. None. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, actually, guys, maaga tayo natapos ngayon na. Meron pa tayong 7 or 8 minutes. Kasi ito, hindi natin sisimulan muna to. So let me tell you what will happen next meeting. By the way, guys, yung result na exams nyo, you'll have it hopefully by tomorrow or by Saturday. Yung first quiz natin. And then after we finish yung modules, module 2, meron pa tayo natitirang siguro 2 or 3 more sessions, and then we'll have the next quiz. What will happen next meeting is that we're going to create a more dynamic amortization table, so that when kunyari may binago tayo dito, pag may binago tayo dito, dapat automatically magbabago to. Tanggalin ko to, ha. Dapat automatically magbabago din yung months dito. So yun ang gagawin natin. Kasi kunyari gawin natin baguhin natin yung annual rate, kunyari gawin natin tong 30 years. Kasi dito sa pag-ibig calculator natin, diba meron tayong pwedeng pwedeng 1 year, pwedeng 3 years, 5 years. This one. We're going to make use of this. Okay. So we're going to make use of this, guys. So that yung model natin next meeting will be more dynamic. Ibig sabihin, paano kung gusto ko 30 years? No? So dapat pag linagay ko dito 30 years, so dapat ito magbabago din yung return natin, yung interest. So dapat magiging 9.88 yan. So automatic dapat yun. No? Tapos, dapat magbabago din to, itong model natin. So kung 30 yan times 12, dapat magiging 300, dapat magiging 360 to. Automatic yun guys, automatic. So we'll create an amortization schedule in such a way that it's dynamic in the sense that baguhin natin years, dapat magbabago to. Magbabago dapat to. Okay, syempre magbabago din dapat yung periodic rate, yung total periods, pati yung amortization. Okay, let me see. All right, so we're not going to start with this yet. Yung dynamic. We'll do that next meeting. Okay, so ano nang natitira sa atin? Ito. Okay. Magda-data table tayo dito, and then yung timeline actually ine-explain lang naman dito yung ano no. So ito yung annual. Okay, so 30 years, no? Semi-annual, so 2 beses nagko-compound per year. So ito rate per period 10%, ito magiging 5% number of periods. Okay, so this is just a graphical display, no? Semi-annual kasi 2, ito 4. Okay. So we can already finish this kasi ito lang naman yung sinabi ko kanina, no? So pag ang rate per period 10%, annual kasi siya, ang number of periods natin 30. Ito ang rate per period natin will be 10% divided by this one. And then ito, number of periods 30, and then multiply natin ng 2. Para tapos sa itong worksheet na to. Anyway, in-illustrate ko na naman siya. So this one will be 10%, diba? Divided by natin kung ilan yung compounding niya, 4. Okay, so yung 2.5% na yan, okay, every time na magko-compound tayo, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So apat na beses yung 2.5 sa isang taon. Pag kinumulate natin yan, that's 10%. And then of course this one will be equal to this one times number of periods natin 4. Okay, ito yung kanina, no? All right, so that leaves us guys with this one, amortization, yung dynamic natin at saka itong compounding. Actually nagawa na natin din dati to, pero i-explain ko na lang next meeting. Okay, so hopefully guys by next meeting tapos na natin yung time value of money. Okay, and then we go to the other topics under module 3. Okay, any questions guys? Mabilis na natin natapos yung discussion natin ngayon. Any questions? Paki-chat naman please kung clear so far. All right, sige, sandali. Stop recording ko na muna.